Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind the Country Chic Cottage. Today we are going to make sublimation bookmarks, and I do have a couple different varieties, one that works well and one not so well. So I wanted to show you that yes, sometimes I find sublimation blanks that do not work very well. So just in case you might find those as well, I always want to experiment with those on camera so you can see that there are in fact some failures or some sublimation blanks that don't work quite as well. But I do have a version for you that works amazingly, and so you can make your own bookmarks for your own books, for your reading goals, or to give to family and friends. Now I am going to put a design on these. However, you could add photos, you could add whatever you wanted to the front. So first let's take a look at the supplies we're going to use. The supplies you'll need for this project are as follows: protective paper, heat-resistant tape, lint roller, heat-resistant gloves, some type of heat-resistant mat. I like this firm mat for projects like this. Then you'll need sublimation bookmarks. I'm going to sublimate two different types. This bookmark actually comes with little tassels to add to the hole at the top. Then you'll also need a heat source. I'm going to use my Easy Press, but you can use any heat press for this one. And then you will also need sublimation prints. Let's take a closer look at designing the sublimation print. Then we'll take a look at the print itself, as well as a closer look at these bookmarks before we sublimate. First, click Create a Design, and then you want to pick a size. I usually choose custom size, then I change it to inches and put in my paper size. I'm going to use 8.5 by 11 inch paper, so I'm going to use that for my size. Because each bookmark is a different size, we want to make a template on this page. So I'm going to click Elements, then I'm going to find a square. So we can search for square, and we can choose a square from shapes. You want a square that has these markings on all four sides. That way you can drag it into different sizes. Now we do want an exact size on this. So we are going to click Position. We're going to go down here to the width and the height. You're going to make sure this is unlocked. This is locked. We want to unlock that ratio and then add the size. So you do want to measure the bookmarks and go slightly over the size. So I'm going to use 1.6 inches by 6 inches for my size. Now this can be any color that you choose. I'm not going to use the color to print. I'm only using this for a template. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to white. But if you change it to white, you won't be able to see the outline. And the whole point is to see an outline of some type. So I would go ahead and leave it with some type of color. You can do a light or a dark color just to be able to see the template itself. So if we do this light gray, we can kind of see the template. So I've made two different template sizes here, one for the larger bookmark and one for the smaller. You would make these whatever size your bookmarks are. Remember to oversize them slightly just to give yourself a little bit of room. Now you want to upload your design. So we're going to click Uploads, click Upload Files, and find the files on your computer. I have already uploaded my files. So for each of these, I can click the image and it will pop over onto my canvas. From here, I can go from the corner and resize the image. So I'm just going to resize it until it looks good on my bookmark. Now you need to remember on this larger bookmark, there'll be a hole at the top. We need to leave room for it. Second of all, we don't want to go all the way to the edges because we want to leave room around the sides. So I'm going to resize it where I think it looks pretty good. And then for the smaller version, again, I would choose an image and click it and then resize it to fit on the smaller version. Now the smaller version is double-sided. So I could resize it to where it fits my bookmark, and then I can click it, right click copy, right click paste, and then I would have two of the same image that I could print to my sublimation printer. Now when you have these resized and you are ready to print, we can make as many of these as we would like. Once we're done, we would click the square and click the trash can to delete. We don't want to print those templates. So once I have all the designs that I want to print out, I'm going to delete all of the templates. Then I can just click and drag these around to locate them on my print. So these will print wherever I place them into location. And now that I have them into location, I just need to print them. So we can go to Share, Download, and you can download it as any type of file. I generally like to download it as a PDF for print and click Download. Then you would print these with whatever method you use to print to the sublimation printer that you're using. So here's my sheet after I printed on my sublimation printer. Now this does need to be sublimation ink and a sublimation printer on sublimation paper in order to work. Then the bookmarks themselves need to say they're for sublimation. Both of these do, so we are going to test both of them and see how they work. I've used these metal bookmarks before, so they're single-sided. The white side is what you sublimate on, and they do have a protective coating on them. So you just kind of need to grab the edge and peel off that clear protective coating to sublimate. This version I thought was interesting, so I thought I would try it. It's a magnetic bookmark, so you can sublimate it flat, and then it should be magnetic and sort of wrap around the pages of your book. We'll see how this one does, but this one definitely works. Next up, you'll want to clean both of the bookmarks really well. Make sure any dust or debris is off of the surface. I'm using a lint roller for this, but you can use a dust-free cloth and rubbing alcohol as well. You can see that my design is mirrored as well. I'm just going to cut these apart. And if you cut fairly close to the design, it will sort of help you locate the design onto the bookmark. Kind of give you a visual for where the design is, because you may not be able to see it once you add it to the bookmark itself. And then for each of these, we'll add it to the bookmark. And then just add heat-resistant tape to hold it into place. And I'm just going to repeat for the other versions. Then I have my heat-resistant mat, protective paper, bookmarks, sublimation print side up. I'm going to cover them with protective paper, and then I'm going to press. I'm using 380 degrees for 50 seconds. About a medium pressure. Then once that's done, we'll lift up, remove the protective paper, and then remove the sublimation print itself. You can sort of peel it back and see your gorgeous design. I think that time and temperature looks really, really good. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same process on the other version of the bookmarks, and then we can see just how those look as well. First, here are those two metal bookmarks. Again, I put the tassels on that came with the package. These look very bright, very vibrant. I really love the way these turned out. The second version are the magnetic versions. They're smaller, and you might be able to notice that the image is just not as bright. You just can't get a bright image on these because the heat sort of damages the magnet. So I had to go with the 380 degrees for 50 seconds. The magnet was still damaged some, but they do still work. However, the image itself is very light. So you might be able to tell that this lettering is very gray in comparison with the metal bookmark, and the book stack itself is a lot lighter than the book stack on the metal version. So while these magnetic bookmarks work, you might want to save them for things that you don't expect to be bright and vibrant, or don't purchase them at all, and just purchase the metal versions. I will link to both in the description below this video so you can choose which one is right for you. So now you know which blanks that I like and which that I don't like, but you can make the choice on your own. Which one will you use for your sublimation? Now the files themselves, I really love these files. They're actually from Corey George with Hey Let's Make Stuff, and I'm going to link to the files as well as all the supplies I use in the description below this video. So you can head there, check out those supplies, get the files if you want to make exactly the bookmarks that I have made, or create your own bookmark design file, or find another bookmark design on a website like Creative Fabrica. Either way, I know you are going to love making some sublimation bookmarks. This one is definitely for all you book lovers out there. If you love books as much as I do, you're gonna love this project. So now, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about making sublimation bookmarks, drop down in the comment section, ask away. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.